you integrate your music with the Quincy Jones band? Do you have to like play Quincy's stuff, or do you bring your own stuff? How does that work?
So he's asking, while I'm performing in Quincy's group, how do I integrate what I do? And the beautiful thing about how things have gone so far with touring with Quincy is that he allows everybody to sort of showcase what it is that they do. So it's he has a wonderful vocalist named Nikki Yanofsky. She comes and she sings her stuff, and I come in and I play my thing, and then Alfredo, a wonderful pianist, does his thing. So he allows us to do our thing in the context of the whole show, you know. So it's been nice. It's been a lot of fun.
Thank you.
Experience.
Yes, man, at the front.
Oh, me? Yeah. Oh, okay. Hi, my name is Connor. I'm a student at the Academy of Music for the Blind, and I don't really have a question, but I just wanted to say that this was a cool story. Justin, you're cool, and this whole experience coming here to see the movie was cool, and everything's cool, and you're a rad piano player.
Right up in the middle there.
Can you just remind us how Justin and Clark met?
Oh yeah. So how Clark and I met. Both Al and I were students at William Patterson University, which is a school in New Jersey, right about 30 minutes outside of New York City. And when I enrolled into the college, Al was already there as a student and had already actually gotten pretty close with Clark and Gwen and the Terry family. And so I met Al, this Australian buddy, this guy, and he actually took good care of me, and just as a friend. And the way it worked out is that at the same time, Clark was starting to lose his sight because of diabetes, and was sort of having a tough time with it. So Al thought it might be good to bring me over to Clark's and have me chat with Clark about my own experience. Having lost my sight a while back already, so just letting him know things still are pretty cool. You know, I have a lot of wonderful things I still do, and just sort of give him a little bit of support. And that's how it started. You know, I went over to the house and first was like, oh my God, I'm going to Clark's house, and that's pretty cool. And then sitting down with him and talking with him, and then him sort of becoming the teacher. You know, and getting to spend time in his group, and yeah. That's how it worked out.
Yes, ma'am.
I have two things. One, I wanted to find out, how did you happen to capture that moment when Justin found out about being a semi-finalist in the Monk competition? You must have had to shoot a lot of footage.
So that whole episode went down. It was myself and our second unit cameraman, Rory Anderson. Al was actually at Clark Terry's place at that particular point in time, and this is one of my favourite moments in the film as well. And Justin was actually going to the eye doctors to get a checkup. He hadn't had a checkup for something like 12 years or something, was it? Something like that?
Basically, I was going to get a checkup to find out what state my right eye was in, because we were thinking about getting a prosthetic, and I actually ended up did. And they filmed all of this, but that's why we were at the doctor's office.
Okay. So we were at the doctor's office, and you know, that's myself not being a musician, and his phone rings, and you know, I kind of looked at Rory and just kind of said, you know, let's just keep rolling. You know, it might be Clark. He might be calling up to, because they were always on the phone together, and you know, we just kept rolling, and once that all went down, and you can hear Phyllis, Justin's mum, say across the room to me, you know, it's a competition. Because I didn't know what it was, and at the end of the day, I called up Al and just kind of said, hey, you know, there's the doctor's office, you know, things weren't so well with what Justin needed to find out, the info he needed to find out, and I said that somebody called him up about Monk something or other, you know. And Al's just like, whoa, hold up, hang on a second. Say that again? I said, oh, the Thelonious Monk Institute called Justin, and he just said, go and get him the phone, get the phone, get Justin. And then, you know, little did I know that it was, you know, one of the biggest moments of Justin's life, you know, and would have been for his career. And yeah.
And these guys called me up bummed out because they didn't get, the doctor wouldn't let them into the office. and then they were able to get Phyllis to take the microphone into the office, and then maybe we could cover the shot by looking at the door and get just the audio. And Phyllis sat the microphone next to the nurse that played with Candy the whole time. So the doctor's talking to Justin on the other side of the room, and you just hear like, "Oh, Candy!" And so they were really upset about it, but it ended up being the moment that set the story forward. You know, yeah. Yes.
Well, I just wanted you to know that I have one of Justin's earlier teachers here.
Oh, okay.
And he actually was a winner of the Felonious Monk competition in 1989.
Look out.
Bill Cunliffe.
Hi, Justin. Bill Cunliffe. How you doing? Well, Justin, I want to tell you that I won the competition, and it didn't help me that much. But I did want to ask you a question. The opportunity when you studied with Clark. I mean, we piano players. You said so many things in the movie that I think about. I have nothing to say of my own. How could I figure out what I'm supposed to say? All my voices are getting in the way. My thoughts come in and say I'm lousy. I can't do it. I still have this like 30 years after I won the thing. But maybe you could share a little bit your story about how you've become. And I remember I worked with Justin when he was 17, and he was a good piano player, but he wasn't special. It didn't sound to me. And you've become incredibly special. So you've done the work. I'm really, really proud of you. So, and I think as a teacher, I teach at Cal State Fullerton, and I'm always telling kids that being a musician, it's the life lesson. Solving that problem of how to be yourself and yet exist in the world is like a big, big part of happiness. So you've become just a wonderful, creative, individual player. And I know Clark had a big part in it, and I heard a little bit of that, but maybe you can tell us all a little about your process, about how you became you, or how that process is going, and whether you're even beginning to do that yet.
Well, so what you're saying is so amazing, because that's always the question. They say, "Oh, have you found your voice now?" You know, I'm like, no, it's a process, like you're saying. That's exactly what it is, and I think just what's probably changed ever since I got to spend time with Clark is recognizing that it is a process and learning to be comfortable, really, with that process. I sort of draw parallels to, for me, how I am as a person. I hope to grow and become a better person. I'll never be there, you know, at least you always strive. And I feel like it's very similar in our musical identities as well. Like, you know, I'll keep on working and keep on hopefully growing, but just learning to accept, well, this is where I am, you know. I can't do anything about that except embrace it and sort of be comfortable in that, and knowing, of course, there's always things to be working on and to grow, but and then to be around Clark and just to have him say, basically, those nerves and that mind kind of trap that you can set for yourself, that can go both ways. You can use that for good, and that can make you a better performer, or you can let it defeat you. So just sort of hearing him share that and sort of honestly just getting the encouragement makes such a huge difference. Thinking, well, if Clark believes in me, maybe I can do this. You know, it always makes a big difference to have a teacher or a mentor really believe in you. Because then, for me, it's not so much me doing it for myself. It's almost, I want to make Clark proud. You know, be able to share that with him, and for him to know that, well, he did a good job. You know, and so it's we're just growing. We're going to keep on. Oh, I keep on doing this. I hate it. Everybody's like, oh, keep on keeping on.
That's
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, I'm a teacher here from the Academy of Music for the Blind. A bunch of us came out to support Justin. We've been following him for a while. I want to applaud, all of you for being a part of such a meaningful, powerful project. And my question would be for Justin, aside from being a brilliant musician and making this role so much more beautiful with your music, would you have how would you like to carry on, Clark's legacy of mentorship, or do you have a desire or wish for that?
Absolutely. Well, and the question was, do I have any desire to sort of pass on what Clark has shared with Al and with so many students and myself. And when we first started filming, one of Al's questions that he would always ask me is, what do you think about teaching? And back then, my response was, I don't think so. I'm uncomfortable. I just remember the first time I tried to take a piano student when I was in high school. It was a young girl, and I'm sitting there trying to teach her, and then one of my brothers comes walking and goes, she's sitting with her legs crossed, and just all this inappropriate, I was overwhelmed, I guess, about how to teach a student, and I had been kind of intimidated by it. And by the end of the filming, and he actually was able to capture this. At the end of shooting, I had about 5 students, and because I realized that getting to spend time with somebody like Clark Terry and so many other great jazz musicians that have been selfless, just like Mr. Cunliffe, in sharing their knowledge and helping young musicians grow. Because I've been blessed to have that, now I have a responsibility to share that with younger generations, and because it